Ali Bay. And tonight I have on the set with me Brother Iwalewa, otherwise known as Daniel John. And tonight I'm going to speak with him a little bit concerning his involvement in politics for the local election, is it?
Yeah, local by-elections.
Local by election. All right. So the first question I have for you, sir, tonight is I would like you to give us a little history about yourself in relations to both your involvement in the Ifa Orisha community as well as a little bit about your political career.
All right. Well, good night again, Daniel John, Iwalewa, also known as Baba Mello. Right. In point 14, I'm considered an elder in the Ifa Risha tradition. I've been given a lot of lectures, classes, and assisting people in understanding the way of Ifa. Right. The reason I got involved in the politics is really, we always say Ifa is for the world, to bring a betterment, to heal the, always say, let us mend the broken calabash.
Okay.
And I believe that if we put Ifa also in the politics, because most politicians, they try to follow the Christian guideline. And very few of our people of the tradition does be involved in politics at that level of trying to bring the politics to the balance as to the way of the tradition. So I'm trying to incorporate the way of the tradition into also the politics and bring about the guidance, because remember, Ifa says, let us be futuristic. For us, and when we get old, also for the young ones to come. So while we push all our energies towards the little clique of us traditionals, we could also get the whole community involved in taking the guidance of Ifa.
Okay. All right. So now I would like you to tell us a little bit about the community that you represent. Tell us a little bit of your understanding of the people there, and tell us a little bit of what you see as a projection for the community, and the way in which you could contribute towards the building of the community in the way that you would like to see it.
All right. Well, the major part of this community's funniest debate was named after a lady named Mother Fanny. That is why the village, they have a village, the main village called Fanny Village, which was also a traditionalist in the Orisha tradition. And basically a lot of people from this area is of the Orisha practice. There are some are now coming new to the understanding of Ifa, incorporated with the Orisha. So it is a traditional community. We have a lot of drummers, singers, dancers in the community of the tradition, but they were never incorporated into the political involvement.
Okay.
So even when we would have our own, let's say, Shouter Baptist celebration, we would see our Orisha community celebrating. No. Just carry the empties. Yeah. Right. You see a lot of people of the Orisha community celebrating with the Baptists because they don't have that core of the involvement of Orisha in any traditional aspect of holiday in our tradition. So we try to incorporate it, and through the politics, I think we could get a better impact of bringing the people to a better understanding in terms of respecting our tradition, as well as being able to participate alongside with our tradition.
All right. Well, I mean, you give some very interesting perspective. But should we be looking forward to Ebenezer Elliott holiday sometime in the future?
Well, who knows? And this is one of the importance, because while we recognize our traditionalists, but in a close-knit society, where the wider society don't really see us as being involved in any form of community development.
Okay.
So by being involved in the tradition, it also shows that we also does make a great contribution now politically in the development of our communities.
Okay. All right. Well, the final question I have for you, Brother Iwalewa. is about your candidacy for the election. Tell us, the viewers, and probably even some of your potential voters in your neighborhood and in your community, why should they consider you to be the most suitable candidate for the position that you're running for?
All right. Well, surprisingly, a lot of people didn't know who's Daniel John. But when they hear the name Baba Mello, they say it's Mello. So people already recognize me from the tradition as Baba Mello in the Orisa community. So that was a plus. But also my grandfather was one of the longest serving councillor in the same community. And most of the people who would have been councillors, although for the PNM, they would have been groomed or trained by my grandfather.
Okay,
but I have the advantage.
you have a long-standing history in political
Of course.
involvement.
So,
all right, okay.
So I have the advantage because when you were training them, I was also there in the training.
All right, okay.
So I understand the politics and I understand how to really bring about community development. So the advantage in my candidacy is that outside of I just call it paper politics. I understand how to get the people to move, how to get the people to understand how to build the community. So now I'm putting it into the politics because I build shrines, I build temples, we have sacred spaces as community development spaces that politicians only cut ribbons for. We create the ideas.
All right.
So I'm bringing that perspective.
So one of the factors that would contribute towards making you an ideal candidate for the position is the fact that you are a long-standing member of the community and you are very much in touch with the needs of the community itself. And you have already been working towards helping develop the infrastructure and a lot of the needed things that the community has. So tell us a little bit, as to what type of projections you have, what type of projects you would like to see, or what type of projects, if you were to have the opportunity to be the representative to put in place for the community.
All right. Well, one other thing, I want to ensure that we promote the tradition in a more in terms of interactive way with the community. So people now understand it. Right now, people are waiting to hear the greetings of the Yoruba tradition.
Okay.
They want to learn the language. So it opens the way to them to open their mind to something new that they would have not understood that was already there. Also, we have, so one of the things we want to do, Yoruba classes. But I want to more do conversational Yoruba classes for a lot of people who want to understand it. We also have, by the people get involved in the election campaign, I spoke with a chairman of one of the other corporations, and I told them about a project, a sacred space where we as Orisa people are just go and plant our flag, make an offering. So I'm looking to acquire that space. He already gave me the guarantee. Just have to talk with the councillor in the area. So that would be like a local tourism, or what they call religious tourism, where we will have a space where we could create our economic base, but also promote the tradition. I'm selfish. They can say I'm racial because I promote bites. I don't want to promote other people.
All right, but as you mentioned the area race, now you mentioned most of the demographics seem to be people who are traditionalists. But however, are there other ethnic groups in your community, in the community that you represent, and how do you plan to reach out to them also?
Well, surprisingly, most of the people of the other ethnic group is people that I have good relations with.
Okay.
And they would have great relations with knowing my grandfather in the early days. So there's a good relations. Late last year, we sponsored the replanting of some Hindu flags in one of the traditional area, which is called Clifton Hill Beach, and which was really appreciated by the Hindu community.
All right. So I mean, Even though I heard you use the term, you might be racial earlier, but it seems that you do work with everybody in the community,
I
despite
think
what.
with everybody, but you don't lose track of, you don't give up what is yours to find that balance.
All
So
right.
while I may promote, like a guy said, you think you should wear those elekes when you go to people? Well, I had on one. I said, well, I'll think about it. So the next day I put on two. And then I put on three. So when you see the same response that the people are comfortable, those that were Christians, those who are Hindu, that the community don't watch you by your religion, because everybody know we always respect each other's religion. Because when I that presence happening, we all go to it. When Orisa presence happening, they come to it.
All right. So I mean, so the community is a diverse community, and you have in fact reached out to all members of the community.
Just all members.
While at the same time having a great measure of pride in the tradition that is your own.
Of course.
All right. Well, brother Iwalewa, I want to wish you all the best on the campaign trail. And I hope that you see the success that you want to see. And I hope that you would be able to implement the projects that you have in mind. And most importantly, my little suggestion, we need to push for Ebenezer Elliott holiday, right? And we should push for it maybe for the 28th of February. And on the years that we have a leap year, hopefully we'll be able to celebrate the ancestors or the Shakpana holiday on the 29th, whenever there is the leap year.
Right. Now, what I think, as I speak that, in terms of now February, some let's call it Black History Month or whatever. Now I'm promoting Heritage Month.
Okay.
So now I don't like the term black. That I don't get involved in emancipation again. But I'm talking about Heritage Month, and then we could create something. Now, what I would like to be an example for other Ifa Orisha practitioners. See other avenues, because there are 8 essence of Ifa. And the political, social essence is an important part that we never seem to put energy towards. So while we struggle with the sacrificial and religious aspect, it leaves out 6 other aspects that can really be incorporated in the whole society. And then now when we do our religious and the sacrificial, everybody can appreciate it and contribute towards it.
Well, I didn't want to go too much into that part of it. But however, seeing that you already opened the discussion, we're going to have a little bit more of a discussion on it. Because tradition in the fatherland or motherland in Nigeria, the role of tradition also covers politics, religion, and many other aspects of the infrastructure that any society needs. So obviously the area of politics cannot really be neglected, because it is the tool by which people become empowered. It is the tool by which people are able to have a lot of the basic things that they need, right? So if it is that there's a lot of emphasis on the aspects of tradition, such as the religion and the exercise of religion, because religion is only a small fraction of a tradition.
Yeah, a small fraction, yeah.
Right? The politics play more of an active role, because the relations that is established by the community is what is going to determine whether or not they're going to experience any type of economic development and proper development of infrastructure. Right? So I guess maybe that is one of the roles that you would have to play, bringing politics more to the front of the tradition.
Because if you look at the Ogboni society, the Ogboni society is really a political party or a political structure. So when you have the Ogun, I can't remember all the titles right now, but the Ogun officer, he's like the Minister of National Security. You have the Obas, which come like the councillors for different regions. Then you have the Women Affairs.
But
Social affairs.
Sorry to interrupt you, but again, because of the size of Nigeria, and because of the fact that there are many areas of Nigeria that is not fully developed, you would find that the traditionalists will play the role of government, of politics, and they would have to provide for all the needs of their people. I don't know if in a place like Trinidad, the tradition fulfill all of these rules, or if it's even necessary for it to fulfill all these rules, because we have a government here, and the government rule is by far more personal in terms of how it affects people than it would be in Nigeria, where you would find that the tradition plays the role of government.
No, well, true. But what I'm saying, if we are, remember, if we as traditionalists understand our role, but our role is basically always far ahead in terms of community development and growth than the Western political system which we follow. But to change the politics is us traditional to get involved at, or say, functional aspects in the politics, and gradually amend some of the laws and put it that way we can basically make an impact. Because if we say as Ifa is the way to bring alignment to the world, Ifa is the answer to mend the broken calabash for the whole world, but yet our principles of Ifa is not in the political structure. So if we can put the influence of Ifa into the structure of the politics, be it medicine, be it law, be it youth development, sports, whatever, gradually we could have a more balanced society. Because remember, the politics is followed more by Western. We adopted a constitution from the white man. We didn't write our constitution based on our beingness. We just adopted our constitution and trying, that way every parliament is always trying to adjust the constitution. And society is basically stay the same.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, as everything else, politics is a dynamic sort of a science. Yeah. And as the needs of people change, so would the rules and the principles and the laws and everything else to accommodate the needs of the people. We as traditionalists, we do not necessarily hold the same sort of views as modern politics in the modern politicians in the diaspora. However, yes, I agree with you that our involvement in politics might be able to change some of the dynamics of the game of politics.
Because two things we have to look at. When we say as traditionalists, traditionally I practice Ifa, but traditionally I'm also a Trinidadian.
So you are a member of the wider society.
So I'm part of the wider society. So Ifa may not have may not have the carnival that we understand, but Ifa may have their own festivals.
No, well, I mean, again, another discussion, because the way I understand it from my research, what we call carnival here developed from the masquerade and developed from different aspects of our tradition. We haven't been given the credit for it because they seem to be leading in the direction of giving the French most of the credit for our carnival. But a lot of the elements, if carefully looked at, particularly with the old masks, all the characters that are West African.
Yeah.
All right, well, my brother, I know you are a very busy man, and I know this is the high season for your campaign. So I want to thank you for taking the time off to share with us a little bit about yourself, about your community, and about your candidacy. All right, and with that, I would like to close off the show. We've been going 18 minutes already, and I don't want to take too much more of your time. So again, thank you for the time, and I appreciate you taking the time off to talk with us a little bit.
So as we say, aboru, aboye, aboshishe.
Agbo ato, my brother.
All right. There we go.